Today's session will be on control statements, or we also call it as if conditions. Okay, what all topics we are discussing today, I'll just brief and then I'll explain what actually it is. So today's session, as I discussed, so it will be on control statement. Let's say we'll be learning what are these conditional statements. Then we have this if, end if, then if else, end if. Then we also learn about how to use Elseif, then nested statement and select case statements. Okay, so these are the topics what we have for today. What I'll do is I'll not go through all these PPTs. So this I'll be sending it to you. So what you do is you just go through that and then get back to me if you have any doubts. Let me close this presentation. I'll go to my Excel sheet and then we'll discuss about what actually we are trying to work on today's session. So conditional statements. Conditional statement means applying condition on some criteria. Say I have a criteria. Based on that criteria, whether it is true or false, I'll be getting the results. Let's take one example in Excel and then we'll move on to macro. Let's say in D5 I have 6,000 and we'll say this is a sales value. Here I need a status. If the value is greater than 5,000, then I want the status as high, otherwise it should be low. So how will I use in formula? Equals if this value is greater than 5,000, then I'll say it is high, else low. Close the bracket. Done. If you go and check this formula, I have criteria, then I have the true value, and then I have the false value. Same logic will be using in my macros as well. So what we'll do, we'll start writing a macro. So before that, as I always say, have the habit of saving the file. I'll go here and try to save the file. Say macro enabled file, and here change the name of it. Say I saved it. Next, we'll rename the sheet. So if you follow this procedure, it will become like you'll not forget any of these options what I'm trying to do before writing the program. Okay. Now we have to create one module, that is standard module. Right click, insert module. I'll say F4 mod underscore if. First, we'll try to work on a simple if condition. Say sub if condition, say just if. In the previous session, we learned about how to use this data types. So what we'll do is here afterwards, we'll use these data types so that it will be easy for us to program. Let's go back here. I have the value as sales. Let's assume this will not cross 32,767. So we'll be taking integer. Let's go back. I'll say dim int sales as integer. So this int sales is a variable name. Int sales, I'll say it is wks if dot range of d5 dot value. So what I've done, I've taken this d5 value into this int sales variable. Now what we'll do, we'll try to use this int sales for checking my condition. The syntax is if the criteria. Criteria is what? Int sales. If it is greater than 5,000, then this value, that is E5, wks if dot range of E5 dot value equals high. So what I've done, if this is condition, then the result. In this case, what happening is, if the criteria is true, then only it will execute this statement. Let me delete this and we'll try to execute this. I'll say fi, see, I'll get the result here. Next, instead of this, I can also convert this program like this. Let me copy this. I will paste it here. I'll say if Endif. What I'll do is I'll say if condition, then I'll take this below and here I'll say Endif. Both the programs are same. Let me execute this program. I was talking about if condition, that is here it will actually take only one statement. Here if you see, they have this if int sales, this is the criteria, and here I have one statement. The difference between these two programs are this one, what you see here, if it is only one statement, then I can use this format. If I have multiple statements, then I cannot use this format. This syntax will work only for only one statement to be executed. Now suppose if you want to have multiple statements, let's say for example, I'll go here. If I go here, so I have this d5 at 6000, and here I'm checking that if this is greater than say 6000 5000, then I should get this value. This is one statement. Let's say I'm using one more statement here saying equals this divided by 12. Another say statement. Now I'll go here, I'll say wks if dot range of fi dot value is equal to int sales divided by 12. See, here I'm using two different statements, but here I'm using only one statement. So if you see this, the difference between this and this is, say if and if can have multiple statements, and here if I'm using in only one line the syntax, then I can use only one statement to be executed. Fine. So if you see here, let me just remove this. If this is true, that means this condition is true, then I'll have this. I'll get the result. Suppose if I make it 4000, now if I execute this, say F5, see, this will not get executed. The reason is there is no false statement here. Now how to get this? Now what I'll do, I'll go here, copy this, paste it here, I'll put say else. Now if you go and check this, I have this else statement. Say else, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. Let me remove this statement, not to get confused. Here I'll make it as low. Then what happened here? If the value is greater than 5000, that means if the value is true, if this condition is true, then it will execute this statement, else it will execute this statement. Let me run this. See, now I'm getting this low. Let's go and debug step by step. Say F8, the condition says 4000 is greater than 5000. That means this condition is false. Say F8, see, it executed this statement. So in this block, in this if condition block, only one statement will be executed. If the condition is true, whatever statement is there under that, that will be executed. If this condition is false, then whatever value are there under this else statement, that will be executed. Fine. Let's go back. Let's assume that I have more condition to be checked. Say if it is greater than 5000, then it should be high. If it is greater than 2000, then it should be medium. Otherwise, it should be low. That means I'm checking two true statements here. Let's go back. In this case, I'm checking only one condition. So if you want to check multiple condition, so what I have to do is, let me go here. I'll put one more block here, say else if int sales is greater than 2000, then let me copy this, paste it here. I'll make it as medium. So if you check this, I'm using else if. One more condition here, or we also call it as criteria, condition or criteria. If this is true, then it will go here. Let's check the value. It says 4000. Let's run this program now. If I say F8 for debugging, I'll say, let me make it as else if, run this. See, it says 4000 is greater than 5000. This statement is false. That means this condition is false. It is going to the next statement. Now it says 4000 is greater than 2000. This criteria is true. Now what will happen? If I say F8, see, it is saying medium. If you go to this previous example, here I have only one condition which is checking. If the value is greater than 5000, then you should execute this statement. But here I have a multiple condition where I have this int sales is greater than 5000. That means if this is true, it will execute this statement. If this is true, it will execute this statement. Right? Okay. Let's summarize. We saw this if condition which can be executed in one statement itself. That is, if I have only one statement to get executed, then I can use this syntax. Coming to the next one. Here, suppose if you want to execute a multiple statement or say single statement as well, I can use if condition then the statements and I have to use endif. See, in this I don't have endif. Here I have this endif. Suppose if I want to have a false statement, then what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say if criteria then the statement else the false statement endif. Coming to the next one, say I have this. Suppose if I have multiple conditions to be checked, then I'll go here and I'll be using Elseif to have multiple conditions. I can use this Elseif, multiple Elseifs here. In the block, if I'm using if, Endif is compulsory. If you need to have a false statement or a default statement, then else is compulsory. If you are not giving this else statement, the default value is not given. If I want to use multiple criteria, then I have to use else if. Don't use multiple if statements. Some people have the habit like this, say if and next they'll say if. Never do this. If I say fi, see, because here for any if statement there should be an endif. Now if I'm using this if, then there should be endif for this. So in this case I'm using if, else, else if, then else, endif. Let me stop this. Let's take one example with multiple criteria. Let's assume I have age and say status. Now I'll go here, I'll have a condition, I'll say 0 to 12 should be kid, 13 to 19 should be teenage, 20 to say 40 it should be youth, say 41 to let's say 75 it should be adult, and greater than 75 I'll say old. Save this once. So if I'm entering a number here, depending on the number, it should fall under this criteria. The question is like this, but just because the question is like this, I cannot go with a value like this. So I have to decide how to write my criteria, how to categorize my criteria. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my code and then start writing the code here. Let's say sub get age. Let's take this value into one variable. Since this is age, I know that it will not increase more than 100 or it'll say it will not go beyond 255. So what I'll do, I'll say dim age as byte. I'll take it as byte. Now I'll say age equals wks if dot range of say g5 dot value. I've taken this g5 dot value. Now what I'll do is I'll take the conditions first. Let's understand the condition. Say if it is greater than 75, then we'll say old. Then what I'll do, I'll say if it is greater than 40, instead of saying 41 to 75, I can also take greater than 40. That means it will fall under this. If it is greater than 40, and here one more condition is greater than 75, so it will fall under this category. Let's go and understand here. Say if age is greater than 75, then we'll put one more condition here. Put all the conditions now, and then we can put the statements. That will be more easier. I'll say else if age is greater than 40. Then see, what I was telling about this criteria is, if age, whatever I'm giving, is greater than 75, it will go and it will execute the statement under this condition. If this is false, that means any value lesser than 75, it will come here. That means up to 75, what it will do is it will execute here. That is, anything greater than 40 and up to 75, it will take this criteria. Next, else if, let's say age greater than 19, that means this one. Greater than 19 means it will be 20, from 20 and up to 40, that is this one. Then the next criteria, this one, I'll say else if age is greater than 12. Then next what we have is this one. If none of these conditions are true, then I'll say else Endif. See, I put all the criterias first. So this will become easy for me to know if the conditions what I've given is correct or not. See, one is greater than 75, that is this one. Then greater than 40, that means 41 to 75, that is this one. Then greater than 19, that means this one, 20 to 40. Then I have greater than 12, which will fall in this criteria. And if none of these conditions are true, then I have one default, that is this one. Let's go and put these statements now. See, wks if dot range of h5 dot value is equal to old. See, let me put one enter mark. It will be easy for you to understand. See, if age is greater than 75, that means it is old. Let me copy this, just paste it and change the value, that is for adult. So you don't have to keep on typing everything. So once you get used to this program, so you have to understand the logic, not just keep typing it. Okay, so if you have that habit, then you can do it, there is no problem. But you can concentrate more on logics. You can just copy and paste. See, if it is greater than 40, that means greater than 40 is from 41 and till 75, it will take this adult. Again, let me copy this, put it here, and then I'll say youth. The next, paste it here, I'll say teenage, and then I'll say kid. See, let me save this. We go and check, I put all the criteria and statements under that criteria if it is true. Let me press F5. See, it is coming under teenage. Let me make it 89. So according to this program, it should be old. Let me run this. See, it's coming under old. Very good. Let's go back. Now what will happen if someone enters like this 150, and if I run this, it still says old. That means the criteria greater than 75 is saying as old, but age 150 is actually, practically it is not possible. So for that, what we should do? We should put one criteria such a way that like validation. So what we'll do, how to do that? Let me not change this code. I'll go here. I'll just use one more code here. I'll say h2. What we'll do, we'll try to validate in the beginning itself. I'll say if age is greater than 100, then now this should get changed to else if. I told you in the previous discussion, I told I should have one if, one else, one endif. And if there are multiple criteria, then I should use Elseif. Right, see in this case I've used if, the beginning. Here I'm trying to change the code little bit, so I'm saying if and else if. Now let me copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll say invalid age. Now if I run this, see it says invalid age. Anything above 100 it will say invalid age. Fine, let's go back. This is for straight away what I'm using this criteria. Let's take, paste it here. The what if, let's say I'll take this part and I'll paste it above this. See here, logically if you see syntax wise this is right. I'm saying greater than 19, it is youth, which falls under this category. But what will happen, the sequence also matters. Let me go here, I'll make it as 45. According to my criteria, this 45 should fall under this one, that is adult. Let's go back. Let me run this. See, 45 is greater than 100, which is false in this criteria. It will go to next criteria. 45 is greater than 75. It is false. It will go to next criteria. 45 is greater than 19. Yes, this is true. So what it will do, it will not go to the next criteria because the criteria is satisfied here only. It will say youth. See, I'm getting a wrong result here because the sequence what I've given is wrong. That means syntax wise there is no error. Syntax error means, for example, I'll go here, I'll try to see, this is syntax error. Automatically I'll get a red color text here if there is syntax error. But logical errors, it's very difficult to track because see here I'm not getting any error. Where am I getting error? In the result. So in this case what should I do if I'm actually giving like this? One is you should not give like this. It should be in a sequential order. Suppose if you're giving like this, so what I'll do, I'll say else if age is greater than 19, and I'll say and age is less than 41, or you can use less than or equal to 41. So in this case what will happen? It has to have the range within this, then only it will go to this statement. That means this both the criteria has to be satisfied. Now let's run this program. See, what is the age? It says 45. 45 is greater than 100. No. 45 is greater than 75. No. Now it says 45 is greater than 19. Yes, but 45 is less than or equal to 40, which is false. When I'm using this and, when I say and operator, the conditions, the number of conditions what I'm giving here should be true. All the conditions should be true. If one condition is false, it will not execute this, means it will not consider this, so it will go to the next criteria. See, it's going to the next criteria. Now if I say, see, now it is falling under this. So to brief on this, if at all you are using something like not in the sequential order, you can use this kind of criteria by using either and, or also you can use these operators, that is greater than or equals to. There is a document on this operators as well, which I'll be sending along with this say PPT as well. Okay, this is for this operators. Next, suppose this is for the numbers what I'm using. What if I'm using a text? Let's say I have region and say region code. Let's go here, say region, say region code. So all these examples are there in one file here. I'll just show you that file. See, here I have prepared one file for you, which I'll be sharing it with you. All these programs are written. See, here I have whatever the programs I've just created, right? So that is available here with all the the programs. So if you go and check this, see the same program I'm actually explaining now. If you go to this, VB editor. Here you can see all the programs. See the programs what I just did. So all these with explanation I have noted down here, which I'll be sharing it with you. You can work on this, you can refer this, but I'm showing you how we can work on these statements. Okay, so this file I'll be sending it to you. You can work on this. Right, now let's say region north, east, west, and say south. If I'll give north, it should be N E W S. For every region I should get this region code. Let me go here. I'll say north. If I say north, I should get N here. So how to code this? Let's go back. Remember, now we are working on text, not numbers. When it was numbers, I used to give greater than, equals to, less than, whatever. But when I'm using this test, I cannot use say greater than, less than, right? So what I should use? I should be using equal sign here. Let me go here. Let's say sub get region code. Say dim. Now I'll take the string because it is text. String region as string. Str region equals, I'll say m5 wks if dot range of m5 dot 1. Say if str region equals, I'll say north. Then let's finish all the condition, and then what we'll do, we'll try to put the statement for that. Say if str region equals north, then next criteria will be else if str region equals east. Then so what I'll do, I'll just copy this, I'll paste it, and I'll say west. So we have these three conditions. If these three conditions are not satisfied, then I'll go here for this else statement. Say else, and see if this one, else if none of this, then I'll go to this statement. Now I have all the criterias. I'll go here, copy this, and I'll paste it here, and I'll say if it is north, then n5 should be n. Say n5 equals n. Now let me copy this. Then I'll say if it is east, I'll say e. Then if it is west, I'll say w. Then if none of this, I'll say s. Let me put one enter mark here so that you can easily understand. See, if the region is north, then n5 value should be n. If it is east, then it should be e. If it is west, it should be w. Then if it is none of these conditions, then it should be s. So let me run this. I'll say f5. See, it is getting executed. Fine. Let's go back. But what if I give some other region which is not available here? So what will happen in this case? Say I'll go here, say region northeast equals north, which is false. It will go to the next one. That is also false. This is also false. Now all these conditions are false. So what it will do is it will go to the default statement or the false statement, and it will execute this. See, now it says northeast is S. So according to this, if it is south, then only it should be S. If I'm giving any of them other than these four regions, then it should say invalid. Let me go back. So I'll copy this. How to do that? So what I'll do is, whenever you feel that a user is entering the data, then make sure that you will consider all the criteria and give one default a separate value. Now what I was telling is, we'll put this south also in this block. Instead of taking that into default, I'll say south, and here I'll say S. Else I'll say invalid. So this is how you should start developing your programming skills, right? So first we just wrote a program the simple way. That is, we just took all the conditions and one as default. Next, what we thought was, what if the user will enter other than this for region? Then I made it as invalid. So your program should start developing like this. First, write a simple program, and then slowly what you do is try to develop that. Then it will become like advanced program. So instead of directly going to a very advanced program, try to go with simple program and then slowly start developing it. Now I made this as default. Let's say fi. Now if you go and check, it says invalid. Right. Now, what if I enter something like this, all caps? This is one more problem. Let's go and check this. See, if I run this, it says invalid, wherein it should have been n. So how to handle this? This is because of the case sensitivity. Means it is actually not matching with this case. This value and this value is not matching. So what to do? Let's go back. Let's copy this. See, now we'll try to handle this one, the case. How to do this? Let's say I'll enter north, something like this. See, n is small, orth is caps. Now also if I run, it says invalid. Now you enter in any different mixed cases or say caps or small, whatever, I should get the exact result like this. So for that, what I'll do is, while taking the value into this variable, I'll change the case. I'll use uCase. It's a function which will help me in converting the value whatever is there in M5 into caps. That is like this, equals upper of this. See, you give in any case, say I'll give in smaller case, it is still giving me uppercase. That means I'm converting this into uppercase no matter whatever the case you are typing there. Now I'll change this to uppercase. East, west, south. See, east, west, south, whatever, all these I converted into capital letters. Now I'll say fi. See, now it is giving me n. Let me go here. I'll give, say, west. Let me make it caps here. See, w and t is caps, which will not match with this, but still if I run this, see, that means when you are using text, and if you think that you are not able to guess whether they are entering in a proper formats or proper values, say the text, then you can use this u case or say l case, anything. Suppose if I give l case here, then this should be small, all these characters should be small. If I'm using u case, then it should be capital letter. So depending on your case change, you have to specify the value in the criteria. In this case, what we did, we just took all three conditions thinking that it will be like only four values. So 1, 2 and 3 criteria we gave, the other one will be default. But what if the user enters something else other than these four? Then you have to use one more validation. So finally, we understood that if the default value is there, then I can give invalid. Suppose if the user is entering some value in lowercase or smaller case, I mean in a different cases, then how to handle it. So this will be my final program, so that I'm doing some validations here. There are more validations you can check. So slowly, one by one, you should keep on adding. That will end with a big program with final results. Okay, this is for if condition. So we saw different scenarios, that is only one statement, then if it is multiple statement, without false statement, and here we saw with false statement by using else statement. Here we saw multiple criterias by using else if statement. Then we saw an example of how to use multiple if statement, and we understood how to use, say, the operators, two different two criteria in one statement itself. And then we also saw how to use this text. Right. So these examples what I spoke is completely about if statements. That is conditional statements by using if. There is one more similar kind of say formats which we call it as select case. What select case will do is, when you have multiple criteria, say for example I have this multiple criteria here, I can use select case which is alternative for if condition. Both can be used. I can use if conditions or select case, both are conditional statements, but you have to decide. Usually select case are actually used when you have multiple statements like this. How to use this? Let's go here. We'll take this program so that it will be easy for you to understand. I'll just put it just below this, and here I'll say by using select case. I have this if conditions here, so what I'll do is I'll just remove this. Same variable I've taken, same value I've taken with U case. I know why I've taken this, so that this value will be considered as uppercase. Now the syntax will be like this: select case, and I'll say str region. So in the previous case, what I did, I was taking the value in every statement. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking this value, that's all. Now I'll say end select. Here what I have to do is I'll mention like this: case if it is north, then case say east, case west, case south, then I'll say case else. See, here instead of saying if str region equals east, if it is west, I'm just taking only once what value I have to check, and then I'm giving this case. Case is a keyword, and what is the case? So if the value matches with this case, then that statement will be executed. So let me take this statement, and here I'll paste it. Just paste it and then change the values. Let me give an enter mark here. So if it is east, I'll say E. Then if it is west, I'll say W, say S, and here else I'll say invalid. Say Fi, I'll get the same result here. This program and this program are similar, but this is by using select case, and this is by using if conditions. Any of them you can use. Let me save this. Let's go back and we'll see how we can use other programs as well. Well, let's take this. Let's take this program. Let's try to convert this into select case. I'm just trying to show you both the ways so that it will be easy for you to understand the same logics with the different say options. Now what I'll do is I will remove this which I've used for if conditions. Now I'll say select case age. So what were the criterias? Say case is greater than 100. This is one case. Case is greater than 75. Then case is greater than say 40. Then we had case is greater than 19. Case is greater than 12. Then I'll say case else. Now I have this age. So if it is greater than 100, I'll say this value, that is H5. H5 dot value equals invalid. Same value, same statement I'm giving here. If it is greater than 75, it should be old. If it is greater than 40, it should be youth. If it is greater than 19, then it should be, sorry, this is adult, and this will be youth. And then if it is greater than 12, then I'll say kid. Else, colon, and this will be kit. Let me execute this program. See, same thing there. I used to use if age is greater than 100, if age is greater than 75. Let me change the name, then if, sorry, missed this. If I see, I'll get the result. Let's say 167, here I should get invalid. See, I'm getting invalid. So these are the examples of select case. Let me just explain you this select case. The syntax is select case criteria, and you should have end select. When it comes to case, so what this case will do, it will have all the criterias, say case 1, case 2, case 3, it goes on. So whatever case I'm checking, if none of the conditions are true, then I have this case else, like what I have this else statement here. In this case as well, you can ignore this case statement, and then if you execute without case statement, what will happen is only the true statements, whichever is true, only that will be executed. If the default value supposed to be executed, it will not execute. So what it will do, it will take only the true statement if I don't have else statement. Okay, so these are the conditional statements what we have in our Excel, Excel macros, or say in macros, VBA macros. Say one is this if, then if Endif, if else Endif, if Elseif, else Endif, and then we have multiple if statements we saw. Then we saw the select case statements. Okay, so I'll stop here. If you have any doubts, let's discuss, and then we'll end the session.